Frank, did when the main event for this card became in doubt, it seemed like maybe for a couple of weeks you might have had a pretty good idea. On paper, you made the most sense as a replacement opponent even before it was announced. Did having that extra lead time, at least in theory, help you?
It did, kind of knowing. But, obviously, I was fighting Velasquez before. So we already were preparing for a very arduous fight. So my cardio, I was already preparing for a 5-round fight. For the reason being, one, Velasquez is phenomenal gasting. Probably has the most dangerous weapon in his toolbox is the fact that he has a motor that never stops going. And amongst heavyweights, it's very rare. If any other heavyweight you can think of that has that moniker under his name. And second, that once I realized the title fight was on the same night as mine, I knew that I'd be the most likely to step up the plate to fight for it if someone were to get injured. Well, let's face it, both guys are heavy-handed, strong guys, powerful, and they strike a lot. Those practices can be dangerous. There's cuts, twisted ankles, knees. How many fights have been pulled before in the past? I pay attention, and I don't think from emotion like some people do, and I think just statistics. And statistically speaking, most fights when you start a card are never the same card when the fights are actually done. So I just want to be in the best position possible to, even a week of, I could take up the manner.
At this point in your career, you've been on every side of this equation. You've held the belt. You've challenged for the belt. You've come back from injuries. Being put into a last-minute situation like this, can you see that at this point in your career, it's sort of easier to slide into this as opposed to maybe an earlier time in your career?
Oh, no, absolutely. I've been here, done this before. I'm prepared for all the things. We train fighting every day. I don't think really. The experience, the fact that, Dos Santos has only been in the ring in the last over a year for about 2 minutes, that's not going to hurt him because he trains it all the time. I think what is an advantage on my part is the fact that this, I'm used to, I've been around it, I know how to compartmentalize it and define it and know what to do with it and how to redirect my energy so that there's no distractions leading up to the fight. A lot of fighters, you hear in their interviews afterwards, this is a distraction. They don't sometimes cope with it as well as I do. My background and my history, I think that's one advantage I have over Dos Santos is that this is not new to me. I didn't grow up not around the spotlight. Born and raised in Vegas, I'm kind of used to the idea of cameras and glitz, and then being in the UFC now for over almost 11 years, this isn't a new thing.
Lastly, on the Countdown show, Junior Dos Santos seemed to question your manhood. Do you think something was lost in the translation, or did you take that seriously?
I didn't take it seriously. One, I assume that Dos Santos is a nice guy. We've all seen him talk, right, for the last couple of years. He never talks trash. Now he's trying to. He's the champ. And I think there's people around him going, okay, you got the fighting thing down. You got to sell fights more. Let's do the Brock type thing. Let's get more people interested so you're the complete game player for the UFC. He's not very good at it, His first swing out the door, he fell on his face. He picked an area. I tell people, if you watch the movie Roxanne, with Steve Martin, he throws the darts, he says, I can come up with 20 better insults. I could have thought of money things better. They would have came across with no idiosyncrasy debates and said, hey, this is something I call on Mir. In fact, calling on my heart, it's like, well, I got hit by a car, lost the title, had some shitty fights, stayed in it, back against the wall. Dana will tell you himself, he had a conversation with me that was basically going to let me go if I didn't win impressively against Hardon. Fought all the way back from that to submit Brock Lesnar, to take on Antonio Nogueira for the interim title. First guy to knock him out. Go on now to be 10, in my last 10 fights, I'm 8-2. I'm fighting him for the title. I don't know what it is. I guess I'm just stupid. I just don't know when to quit.
He's coming back from an injury, something